palette, and I was using it on my face for like a good 3 to 4 months before I like moved home and was in different lighting, and I realized, wait, I'm walking around looking like Edward from Twilight. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a little bit of an unorthodox video. Well, not really unorthodox, but the start is definitely unorthodox because I am filming this after I filmed this actual video, the rest of what you're going to see, because I was doing a get ready with me. This is a get ready with me, by the way. And I was like so excited. I was putting on my makeup, and I think I finished like applying my lip color, and I was like taking pictures of the look because I was so excited about it. And then I forgot to film an intro or an outro. So here I am a day later filming the intro and outro. Today's video is going to be a get ready using products that I haven't used all year. So some of these products, it's been like a full year since I've used them, but most of them it's just been within this calendar year, so 2019. I got this video idea from Eyes of Alexandria, so her channel will be linked down below. She has so many amazing video ideas. I also added a fun little twist at the end of this video with an instant death declutter. So any of those products that I used in this video that I wasn't really wowed by, that I didn't really feel the need to keep in my collection, I kicked them out. So without further ado, let's hop into this video. So we are going to start out with eyes per usual. I'm going to show you guys my eyeshadow palettes first, and then we'll deal with eye primer. So I grabbed 6 palettes, I believe. The first one that I grabbed was this Ace Beauté Grandiose palette. This is a palette that I got in a BoxyCharm, in like October of last year, so I've had it for quite a while. I don't believe I've dipped into this one this year, and I'm not really sure why. This peach shade is calling my name so loud. Next, I have my 4 Bad Habit After palettes. I was so excited to get these last year, and I really loved them last summer, but I had an experience with one of them, maybe 2 of them, last winter, and I just haven't really touched them since then. But here's the Aftershock palette. It's a dupe for the Rainbow Huda Beauty Obsessions palette. This one is called After Dark. This one's a dupe for the Warm Obsessions palette. This one is called After Hours. It's a dupe for the Mauve Obsessions palette. This one's called After Party, and I believe this is a dupe for the Huda Smoky Obsessions palette. They're really, really beautiful color stories. Well, they're the same color stories as the Huda ones. And then I also grabbed ABH Subculture. If I'm honest with you guys, I am slightly afraid of this palette, which is absolutely ridiculous because it's just makeup. It comes off. But I think this is beautiful. I've seen Kelly Gooch using it a lot on her channel lately, and I feel very inspired to dip into this yellow shade especially. I think we're going to go for a yellow peachy orangey look today. Yeah, I think we're gonna start with Subculture actually, but first I need to prime my eyes. I'm just gonna go in my Essence I Heart Color Intensifying Eye Base because eye primer is an area in my collection that I don't really own too many of, so I don't really have one that I haven't used all year. So I'm just gonna pat this in with my sponge. And then I am gonna dip into the powder we're gonna use today, and that's the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. And I'm just going to take, I need a fluffy brush. I'm just gonna take this brush from AOA Studio. It's the E127. Swirl it around in the cap just a little bit. I don't want to pick up too much product, just enough to very lightly set down my lids. Well, my crease really. That's where I have creasing issues. I really am just feeling like a kind of quick, easy, simple, but bright makeup look today. I'm not feeling anything super complicated, but I'm going to dip into the Subculture palette, and I want to dip into the shade Edge right here. I think I want to start with this one. Maybe we'll work in a little bit of New Wave too. I'm going to apply that with an M433 from Morphe, and I'm just going to dip my brush in there, and I'm just going to start running this through my crease. I am letting it kind of blend above my crease a little bit too. This is coming off so much more mustardy and like honey colored on my eye. It's a really beautiful shade though. I'm just going to apply this throughout my crease, and you guys know what I like to do. I like to bring it out right here into a little bit of a wing. Now that I've got that kind of built up on both my eyes, I'm just going to take that brush that we took the Maybelline powder on, and with no additional product, I'm just going to start buffing out those edges a little bit. So I feel like I need something to help that blend a little bit. So I'm going to go into my Ace Beauty Grandiose palette, and I'm going to dip into the shade Patchouli right here, which is kind of a peachy nude shade on that same brush. I'm just going to run this over the edges very lightly. And then I'm going to dip back into my Subculture palette, and we're going to go in with the shade New Wave right here. It's a little bit more of a mac and cheesy yellow. And I'm just going to take that on that same Morphe brush, and I think I'm going to focus this more on my outer corner. I'm just once again going to go in that very floppy, flimsy brush that we were using to blend. Alright, so far not too scary. I feel like it's not blending the best right there in like the uppermost portion of my crease on this eye, but it's nothing too bad, too scary, anything that I should avoid using. And now I feel like I really want to go in with the yellow from the Aftershock palette right here, and I kind of want to like cut the crease and do that, but I also have seen some really gorgeous looks on Instagram where people have taken the Honey palette and they've placed kind of like a cool toned brown in the outer corner. Or maybe it's more of like a baby puke brown. It might be a baby puke brown. I think I need to take a second, maybe dig through my collection a little bit more, pull out some other palettes that I haven't used or products that I haven't used, and we'll come back and do something else to the eyes. Alright, I'm going to cheat just a little bit, and I'm going to dip into my Zodiac palette from ColourPop. This is definitely an underused palette in my collection, but I know I've used it at least 2 or 3 times this year. But I'm going to dip into the Taurus right here, which is kind of a baby puke brown. I really wanted to use my Jaclyn Hill palette, but I've kind of backed myself into my filming space and I can't reach it right now. So we're just going to do this one, and I'm just going to kind of pack this on my outer corner. I want to add a little bit more depth there before we go in with the kind of sunny gold shade that I want to put on our lid, just because I think this will help really ground the look. I used to not like, well, I haven't worn yellow on my eyes in a very, very long time. But for the longest time, I thought that I couldn't wear yellow on my eyes because yellow golds, I feel like, in a strange way, compete with my eye color, and I really like to kind of play with my eyes. They're my favorite feature. Is that building any depth? I don't think it is. I'm going to mix Taurus with a little bit of the Virgo. And for a really long time, I felt that when I wore, like, yellow gold, it just didn't quite look right on me. Like, it made me look almost sickly. So for a really long time, I just kind of stopped wearing them. Cleaned off my brush, and I'm going to dip back into Subculture. And I'm going to dip back into Edge right there. And I just want to re-intensify the yellow in the crease. But I feel like we lost, oh, do you guys see that? This is why I get a little bit nervous with ABH Subculture shadows, because I feel like they don't really blend that well into other shadows. Well, they do, but you have to be very careful when you use them. I'm going to take just a little bit more of the Taurus and maybe just a tap of Virgo, just a very small amount, just to re-intensify the outer corner a little bit. So I'm going to cut my crease, and to do that I'm going to use a concealer, but once again, concealer is a category of my collection that I really don't have anything that I'm not using at all. So I'm just going to reach for one that I haven't reached for in like a week or two. I switched to my e.l.f. Camo concealer, but normally I cut my crease with my ColourPop No Filter concealer in the shade White. So I'm just going to take that and load this up on this concealer brush, and I'm just going to half cut my crease really quickly. Now that I have half cut my crease, I'm going to go in with my NYX glitter glue. Obviously, if you guys have watched any of my videos, you know this is kind of not an everyday product for me, but almost every time I do like some serious eyeshadow, I use this pretty darn frequently because I feel like with my eye shape, I just need glitter glue or whatever metallic or liner, whatever I place on my lid is just up in my crease within like 20 minutes. So I'm going to do this one eye at a time. I'm going to go in with my Lorac Shine Bright palette. This was their holiday release last year, and I'm going to go in with the shade Gold Rush right there. I'm just going to use this same brush, partly because I'm washing my brushes tonight and I don't want to wash more than I have to. And it also picks up quite a bit of product because it still is a little bit tacky from the glitter glue and the concealer, so it makes application just a little bit easier. I know my cut crease is not perfect, but I'm going to go in with a little bit of glitter in a minute and we'll fix that up. So I'm definitely covering up the concealer with that shade, but I'm also feathering out a little bit onto those matte browns. I am going to go in with the Zodiac palette once again. Just going to dip into Taurus, so I'm not really going to bother with Virgo, on that same Morphe brush, and I'm just going to lightly buff over the edges of where those two meet. So I'm trying to decide if I want to do eyeliner. I don't think I want to. I am, however, going to put a little bit of glitter in my crease, and to do so, I brought up my Urban Decay Heavy Metal Liners. I don't think it's been a full year since I've used these. I think I've used them at least once or twice in 2019, but it's been a while, so I wanted to pull these out. And I have 3 shades. This one's in the shade Midnight Cowboy, Starfire, and Volume. I think I'm going to go with one of these two. I just can't decide which one. I feel like Midnight Cowboy might be a little bit more flattering because it's a little bit lighter, and I feel like that tends to look a little bit better, but sometimes a little bit of a darker glitter can also look super cool. Oh no, we're gonna go with this one. Seeing this one up next to my eyes, it just looks really cool. So I'm gonna take this and I'm just going to kind of trace the edge of my cut crease, but I'm just kind of tracing where we put that concealer and where we place that gold shadow. That looks kind of cool, right? We're gonna pretend that it does. Alright, so I did go in with 2 coats of that heavy metal liner, just to kind of really make this band really glittery, but I did get a little bit out of control. So I'm just going to dip back into Gold Rush again with that same brush. These are so incredibly foiled, these shadows. I'm just going to kind of go back over where that line is and just try to crisp it up a little bit, which is kind of ironic, I feel, because I drew that line because I was messy with the gold shadow. Now we're fixing it with the gold shadow. But I find that this trick really does help when you're first kind of starting out, or if you're like me and you have slightly hooded eyelids. So doing this kind of gold liner in the crease trick can be a little difficult. And I did decide that while I was off camera, I do want to do some sort of liner because I think I want to do lashes today, because lashes are something that I really don't wear too often. So I would like to pop a pair on today in the spirit of wearing makeup that I don't usually reach for. And to do that, I am going to dip into, let's dip into this After Party palette. I'm going to dip into the shade right here called Invite Only. It's a nice cool toned deep brown, and I'm just going to load that up on a flat definer brush. This one's from Alamar Cosmetics. I feel like this isn't really doing a whole lot, you guys. I don't know. I mean, it's giving me some depth, but it's just not giving me quite what I want. I wish that you guys could see my little table that I used to film on right now. It is covered in like cool toned brown dust from this shadow. Invite Only right here. That was not a pleasant experience to put that on. I feel like it was falling in my eyes, all over my table. I think this one might be the first to go in the Instant Death Declutter. I just don't enjoy this palette. So I'm gonna go back into the Zodiac palette. I'm gonna use a little bit of the Virgo just to kind of deepen up that line, especially in the outer corners. So I am going to take my handy dandy makeup eraser. I use this again almost every time I do my makeup, and I am just going to clean up the edges of this eye look, but I think we're going to leave the eyes there for now. I'm pretty darn happy with them. This next product is a primer that I've been dying to use all year, but I've been trying to hold out on using it because I'm working on a luminizing primer in my project pan. But I haven't really been using that one lately either, but I decided it's silly and we're going to bust into this primer in this video. There's this little sample of the Becca Backlit Priming Filter. Everyone and their mother loves this one, or the, what's the purple one called? I don't know what the other one's called. I don't know, the purple one. Other people love the purple one as well, but I am just so excited to try this because I'm all about that dew, I'm all about the glow. So let's just test this out, see what it's all about. And I'm just going to start applying this to my face. That is less intense than I thought. Maybe it's just because I applied so little. I don't know how much you're supposed to apply. I don't want to like look like a disco ball. Alright, I see the radiance a little bit more on my forehead. So foundations is another area of my collection where I really don't have too many, and especially this year I've really been focusing on using them up and getting through them. So I decided to pick the Maybelline Super Stay Foundation because while I've been using this almost every day, I always mix it, and I haven't used it by itself in a while. I was watching one of Emily Noel 83's videos the other day, and she was just raving about how this foundation is so good, so high quality for the drugstore. And while I am trying to get it out of my collection because, if you guys missed it, I am transitioning into a cruelty-free makeup collection, which is so exciting. But Maybelline is not cruelty-free, so I'm trying to use it up and get it out of my collection. But I do want to enjoy it while I still have it because I paid for it. So I'm just going to kind of patch that on that portion of my face and then blend it out with my sponge. That does look pretty nice on the skin. I feel like it's giving me medium to full coverage. I know that you can build this up a little bit, but right off the bat with just that first layer, I am seeing a little bit of acne scarring popping through. So my skin is definitely looking pretty good with that foundation, pretty even, deathly pale. Concealer wise, like I said, there's really not anything that I don't reach for, and I always reach for my Catrice Camouflage Cream in Wake Up Effect, just for a little bit of brightness under the eyes. Then I'm going to go in with my Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer because this is one that I haven't been reaching for a whole lot lately. I've been reaching more for my e.l.f. Flawless Concealer just because I feel like it matches me a little bit better now. This one is almost too light, which is something I never thought I would say. But I feel like the e.l.f. one just looks a little bit better, looks a little bit more natural these days. But this is still a really nice concealer, one that I enjoy using. And as much as I've been loving cream products lately, I really don't have any in my collection that I'm not using on almost a daily basis. So we are going to go straight into powder. And I'm a little bit nervous to use this powder under my eyes because sometimes it can cling and look funny, but that's the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder. Again, this is a non-cruelty free item that I want to get out of my collection, but I don't know, it's not my favorite powder. I feel like everyone rants and raves about how amazing this powder is, but it just, I don't know, you guys. I feel like it clings to my under eye concealer in a weird way, and I'm just gonna get a little bit of powder on there. I'm gonna kind of cover the tip, but then I'm gonna dab the excess off on my hand, and then I'm gonna take the damp sponge and just pounce it right in there. Do you guys see what I mean? I feel like it's clinging to my concealer more than to like my foundation, so I feel like it doesn't look quite as smooth as it did like when I had blended my concealer in. So I don't know if you guys are going to be able to tell, but I pounced that under my eyes, and then I took a little bit of the excess off my sponge, and I just kind of tapped it into my smile lines, which is something that I do really, really regularly with my Essence All About Matte Setting Powder, and that just made my smile lines look so much worse. But I'm just going to take a little bit more of that powder in my e.l.f. complexion brush that is very much broken, and I'm just going to kind of dab this all over the face. And then we're going to go in with a little bit of bronzer. And again, bronzer is something in my collection that I feel like I rotate through pretty well. I don't usually get stuck. Well, I do get stuck on one bronzer, but I also try to use other ones occasionally. I put a bronzer in my Shop My Stash basket quite frequently to get some more use out of them. But my least used bronzer this year is the Wet n Wild Contouring Duo. This one's in the shade Caramel Toffee, and this was one of my favorite bronzers like last year, the summer before that. I just love how much it warms up my complexion. I mean, as you guys can tell, I am very, very fair. I don't tan in the summertime, and I haven't really gotten into fake tanning. I really want to try it. I'm afraid of turning into an orange Oompa Loompa. I'm taking this on a big fluffy Wet n Wild brush, and I'm just going to start blending this into the hollows of my cheeks. I love any kind of bronzer that's gonna make me look bronze, like I've been outside. I did step away from this bronzer because I feel like I do have to be a little bit more careful with it than my butter bronzer. I feel like this one has the tendency to go orange on me. Like, I don't think it's an orange bronzer, but it's definitely very warm. I feel like I have to be much more careful with this bronzer than with my butter bronzer, which I feel like I can just pile on for days and it's gonna blend out beautifully. And I'm just going to take my e.l.f. complexion brush with no additional powder on it and just kind of blend everything together. That's where we're at with that. And for blush, I'm going to take this Seraphine Botanicals blush. I got this so long in an Ipsy bag, you guys. It's in the shade Happy Hibiscus, and it's like this pretty coppery bronzy shade. I really loved this a couple summers ago. Probably the summer like after I got it. But then it just got kind of lost in my collection. So we're going to try it on today, see if I still like it. Oh, that's a pretty color. There's a little bit of a sheen to it. It's like a rusty, coppery, bronzy shade. Alright, I feel like we are sufficiently blended. We're looking real bronze, which I'm totally okay with. Next, I want to go in with my Sydney Grace Loose Highlighter in the shade Lace. This one, I don't dislike it. I don't really have any issues with it, other than the fact that it's slightly too dark for me. So I really can only get away with wearing it in the summertime, and then like just barely. It's a really pretty like soft, I want to say cantaloupe color because I feel like that's what the color is, or like creamsicle shade. But it gives the most blinding glow on the cheeks, you guys. It's a little dark for me, but I just look past it because it's gorgeous. So I'm going to apply that to the tops of my, oh my gosh, look at that glow. Look at the glow. I don't feel like the dark cast is that bad. I feel like it has a little bit of a peachy hue to it, so it kind of just looks like blush. So I don't have a brow product that I haven't used all year, which is really, really awesome because I have a couple brow products in my collection that aren't necessarily the best match for my brows, but I've still been using them. I've still been trying to use them up, so I'm actually kind of proud of myself that I don't have one for this category, but I'm going to hop off camera real quick to do my brows, and then we'll come back to finish up the eyes and do our lips. So I'm back with the brows on, and I want to do my lower lash line now, and I really do want to pull in this Bad Habit After Shock palette. It's really, really gorgeous and bright yellow in there. I think I'm going to take this on this little pencil brush from AOA Studio. It's the E132, and I'm going to dip into this yellow shade. It's called Electronica. Holy Fallout Batman. And I'm just going to start buffing this on the inner portion of my lower lash line. I feel like it's not quite as punchy as I was hoping. There we go, that's a little better. So I think I've gotten that yellow kind of built up to where I want it to be. So I'm going to dip into Subculture, and I'm going to dip into Edge right here on that same brush. I'm going to go in with a little bit of a smaller amount than I did on my upper lash line. And I'm going to buff this on the outer half of my lower lash line. And then I am going to take, I need like a little smudger brush here. This one will work. This one I think is from Coastal Scents. It's the B11 All Over Fluff. I love this brush. It's really scratchy, but I love the shape of it so much. And I'm going to dip back into the Zodiac palette because I really don't want to touch that After Party palette ever again. And I'm going to dip into the shades Taurus and Virgo just a little bit. I'm going to try to keep it on the tip of the brush, and I'm just going to drag that under the very outer portion of my lower lash line, kind of connecting it up to the upper outer corner, just to make this look more cohesive. Alright, I feel like we got a little something something. I'm going to take that big fluffy brush and just kind of buff under the lower lash line. And then I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for my inner corners. Part of me just really wants to take this Sydney Grace highlighter and wet it and make it like super intense. I think that's what we're going to do, you guys. I'm going to grab my e.l.f. small precision brush, and I'm just going to spray it with some of my Cover FX illuminating setting spray. This is my eyeshadow wetting setting spray because it has chunks of glitter in it, and I was using it on my face for like a good 3 to 4 months before I like moved home and was in different lighting, and I realized, wait, I'm walking around looking like Edward from Twilight. But I'm just going to pop this on my inner corner. That's looking really orange. I'm going to dip into my Pure Bronze and Brighten palette, and I'm going to dip into the highlighter that's right there. This is a highlighter that I did pull out to use, but then I was like, I want to use that Sydney Grace one, and I definitely have not used that all year. But this is also a really, really gorgeous tone. I feel like it's a very similar tone to the ABH Amrezy highlighter. Okay, we're going to go in with the Lorac Shine Bright Pro palette, and I'm going to dip into the shade Vanilla right here, which is a satin white shade. I've really been into like a super duper bright inner corner lately, but I'm so fair that it's kind of difficult to come by. Alright, I think the eyes are complete. Oh wait, I didn't put anything on my brow bone. I'm just going to take this Morphe brush that I always do. I'm going to dip into the Pure Highlighter, very, very softly tap off the excess, and I'm going to pop this under my brow bone. I once again do not have a mascara that I haven't used all year because I don't really, it's not time to crack into a new one, so I don't want to do it yet. So I'm going to go off camera, apply a little mascara, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you guys what lashes I decide to apply. Alright, so I popped on some lashes. I just applied a little bit of my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and then I applied my Lashaholic lashes in the shade Instaglam, and I really love these, you guys. I want to find some more drugstore or affordable lashes that look like this because I think these are really flattering and really pretty. I like how they're so wispy and you can still like see the shadow underneath. So I really do like those. And then for my lips, I'm going to apply my Rimmel Provoca-Lips 16-Hour Kiss Proof Lip Color. This one's in my lip games around this time, and I'm failing epically at using it. It's a 2-step lip product, and I'll probably insert a clip of me applying it right here because I need to put this clip in my lip games video as well. But you're supposed to apply this first end, which is kind of like a liquid lipstick, and then you put on like this gloss balm afterwards. Okay, this is a really pretty color. It's like a beautiful like terracotta rose shade. I thought I wasn't gonna love it, but I really do. I think it's really pretty. So that's going to wrap this look up, you guys. I'll probably apply this gloss balm in a minute once this dries down a little bit. But I am really happy with the outcome. I had so much fun sitting down and doing this video. And now we're going to hop into the Instant Death Declutter that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. So the only product, I was really thinking I was going to have more products, you guys. I think I'm just going to declutter this After Party palette. It's very cool toned. I know I don't really like the mattes in here. I know I don't really like the shimmers in here. So I'm just going to get rid of this one. And then I think I'm also going to get rid of the After Hours palette. This one is beautiful and I really, really do love the color story, but I just don't really like the quality of these shadows. The only reason I'm keeping this one is because... Why am I keeping this one? I don't know. I feel like I need to give this one another chance, but this one will probably eventually end up being decluttered. I just feel like I didn't use it enough to really declutter it. And I'm also keeping the After Dark palette because I mean, look at this color scheme. This is such a Sydney color scheme, it's not even funny. So I'm gonna hold on to those two for just a little bit longer. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. I will be sure to keep doing them in the future because I had so much fun doing this. It's so much fun to shop my stash and kind of dig out old products. I really thought that I was going to declutter the Seraphine Botanicals blush, but I think it looks really nice. I think it ties into this look really, really beautifully, and I think it's really fun for summer. So sorry the decluttering bit was kind of a dud, but thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a long one. So thank you for sticking with me to the end. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below. And I would love to see you guys in my next video. So I'm gonna go for now. No more random rambling. And yeah, bye. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Bye.